It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. So, many of you remember this disaster that occurred a couple of months ago. I was out doing a walkabout and I discovered that my gorgeous spiral cactus had rotted at the base. I don't know why, but here we are. So I did a operation video with you and for you, showing you how I handled it, how I removed it from the pot, how I cut it. There was also a little butt plug piece, and I also rescued that piece, which hadn't rotted. So there were 2 spirals. I put them in the garage in the dark to harden off while we went up to the ranch. And when I got back from the ranch, I checked on it in the garage, and this is what basically I found. It was fine. And so, however, the little piece was black, toast, dead, did not survive. But this one did beautifully. So, it's been sitting under the potting bench in the semi-shade. It gets a lot of direct light there. It gets morning sun to acclimate. Because I didn't want to take it from the dark garage to the sun. You know, I would have probably had scarring and burning and all kinds of other disasters on this. So that's the story behind this plant. It is now time to repot it. So I just wanted to do that with y'all. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put it in the same pot. Now, maybe I should have washed and disinfected this pot, but I didn't. It wasn't insects that killed this or rotted out this plant. It was just too much water at the wrong time. You know, I might have slopped some water on it by accident, or who knows. But I didn't see any evidence of any pests or diseases or anything weird in the soil. But for those purists amongst us, or those of you that have extra concerns or think that it might be soil-borne that's causing the rot in your plant, it would not hurt to disinfect your pot. And you can do that any way that you see fit. Okay, but I didn't, and I told you why. So here we go. I am, normally, you know, I just use whatever potting mix is on sale. I tell you that. I'm not fussy. It doesn't really matter as long as it drains. But because this guy rotted, which is very unusual, I don't usually have that issue here at all. Rot does not occur in my Vista garden in Southern California. It's an extremely rare occurrence. So what that tells me is this plant is potentially sensitive. So I am going to take some of this basic garden and, what is this called? Raised bed and potting mix. Kellogg's. I'm going to take some of this that I found in the garage, and I am going to fill up my pot. It does have, looks like a little bit of perlite in it, but not much. And this is what I had planted this cactus in originally. And the definition of crazy, as I know it, is doing things the same way and expecting different results. So I thought I'm going to mix it up a little bit, no pun intended. So in addition to this mix, which is dry, obviously I don't want to put a hardened off cutting in wet soil. That's a recipe for disaster. So make sure your soil is dry as a bone. And you're going to want to protect your cactus from irrigation, whether it be rain or the hose, until this thing has thrown off roots. And you'll know that's occurred when you start to see, I mean, you can tug on it a little bit. You can sometimes literally see growth. But general rule of thumb, wait a month. I mean, this thing was in the garage for 2 months, and it's fine. So wait a month at least after you've repotted a cactus cutting before you throw water on it. Because remember, these plants take in water, whether it's a cactus or a succulent. They take water in through their roots. Exactly, there are no roots. So how's it supposed to take the water in that you give it? It's not, so it rots. Okay, so I'm going to fill this up almost full with just this generic mix. And I'm going to add some little pretty gravels. This is stuff that I pulled out of my garden. It's a little bit of black creva and some volcanic 3/8, some seashells, just, you know, organic matter. I'm going to mix it into the soil, because this this will do is make the soil dry out faster, won't it? Having the little bit of rock, and you can use packing beads, you can use perlite, you can use vermiculite, you can use whatever you want, but this is what I had on hand, and so that's what I am using to mix in. That's going to create a little bit of air between the molecules of the soil, cause it to dry out faster, and I think my cactus will have a better shot of not rotting if I add in some matter to the soil. You can also just use cactus and succulent specific mix, of which I don't have on hand, so I am being creative. Okay. How much to use? I don't know, guys. You know, I'm a rookie at this. I don't have nearly as much experience with cactus as I do with succulents. I only started collecting cactus a few years ago. And like I said, I live in the land of milk and honey where, you know, benign neglect is the order of the day, and usually it's a non-issue, so I'm making this up as I go. I'm using my common sense, and common sense tells me to use as much as I'm using. Just what feels right? What feels good. So I've used probably a cup or two in here with this soil. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take my spiral cactus. A couple ways you can do this. If you're really concerned, I could lift the soil up higher. I think I will just a little bit. Soil level up a little higher. Set the plant right on top of the soil, like so. And then gently stake the plant. If you wanted, you could do that. But again, that's too many moving parts for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shimmy it in just a little bit, and then go down 1/2 inch maybe, because you don't want a lot of moisture and soil touching the plant where it could potentially start another episode of rot. So I'm going to do only what I need to do in order to have this plant stand up. What did I always say? If your succulent stands up, you've done your job. Well, here you go. So here I am. It's standing, isn't it? And I've got about 1 inch. Can they see that, Greg, inside the pot? Good. I've got about 1 inch of space. So I'm going to, and that's another thing. By using this gravel that I pulled out of the yard, it also makes a really pretty top dressing. So it's one-stop shopping. And I'm going to top dress with some of this. And because this is, in my humble opinion, a blingy type of plant, I want to do some glass. Also, it's going to be living here amongst these cacti that also have mostly glass top dressings. So I filled up with some, just some generic creva and gravels. And then on the top of that, I'm going to throw some brown fireglass. I get my fireglass at the Rock Yard. Southwest Boulder and Stone has a killer selection of fireglass. KRC also has fireglass. You can use aquarium rock, seashells, buttons. I mean, you can use whatever the heck you want. But by throwing top dressing of a little bit of rock and gravel on top of the dirt first, I don't need to use as much glass, because the whole goal here is for no dirt to show. So that's a little bit of a hack workaround too, because this glass is pricey. So the less I have to use to get the desired result, the better. All right, I am feeling really good about this. I planted this hardened off cactus cutting in dry potting mix. I added some creva and some volcanic rock to create some texture so that the soil will dry out faster and stay drier, adding a little air pockets. And then I top dressed with the same product, and then I blinged it with some fiberglass. And now I am going to put this pot back where it was. Now the thing is, remember, this is a directional cactus, and this was the one that, you know, I moved it from Chula Vista to Vista, and it started spiraling the other way, and I was freaking out. But then I thought, well, no, that's okay, because then I'll know, you know, that'll date how long I've been in Vista, right? So I don't know what's going to happen now. Will this keep spiraling this way? Will it revert? Time will tell. But for now, I feel like I have done right by this. It's going to be, as you can see, protected under this umbrella. It will get very little direct sun, mostly just bright light and shade. I'm not going to water it. I'm going to be very, very mindful to keep water away. And remember too, what I always tell you in the summer, it's not about water, it's about temperature. If you can cool your plants down, that's what you want to do. You don't necessarily want to water them, because when it gets really, really hot, plants can go shocky and dormant. And when they go dormancy, just means hibernation or night-night. So again, we need those roots to take in the water, don't we? And if they're sleeping and they're not, then your plant sits in wet and it rots. So that's what happens in the summertime when you water your plants and they rot. That's why. So better, if at all possible, to shade them, bring that temperature down. That way the plants don't go fully dormant, and they continue to have a circulatory system working, and they continue to take in the moisture, take in a little bit of water, stay active, so you don't run the risk of rotting your plants. So that's my little tippy tip on that. And now, as a bonus, check this out. Can anyone identify this cactus for me? This was a gift. One of my followers gifted me a lot of her cactus, a lot of her cacti in terracotta pots. This is what inspired me to do the terracotta collection over in the sand in the beach. This one, for whatever reason though, never made it over into my collectible area because it looked like kind of a nothing burger. It wasn't that exciting. But then, so it's been over by the trash cans. But look at this little miracle. Look at this. Can you even with this? This tiny little thing throwing off this incredible flower. So, because this cactus has done this ugly duckling into a swan kind of thing for me, it is moving up the ranks, and I'm going to be placing it over with my collectibles. But first, I want to do right by it. It doesn't look good, does it? It's listing, dirt showing, it's sunk down in the pot. So I'm going to show you aesthetically. Oh, crap, I don't have my clippers. Wow, you can tell it's been a minute since I've done videos. That's always the first thing I do is put on my scabbard. But let's see if I can do it without them. What I want to do, I have a feeling this plant, this cactus was planted in what appears to be, you know, garden variety dirt. It's not really even soil. It's really hard dirt. And I don't know how long it's been in this dirt. But yes, I am manhandling it a bit. Okay. All right, Greg, talk to the people. Show them the garden. I'm going to run get my clippers. I'm back. Greg's shy, and I panicked him when I suggested that he talk to you, so he just knee-jerked and turned off the camera. But anywho, You just need something, you know. I just need something where I can move the soil, loosen this up. I want to be able to get this thing out of here without damaging it, and I sure as heck don't want to lose that beautiful flower. It's so stuck. Bear with me, guys. Okay, got it now. The roots, I think, are stuck to the bottom of the pot. Is this the right tool? No. But hey, again, I use what's convenient. Oh, there we go. Sort of. Yeah, they are really stuck. Come on, buddy. Let go. This is for your own good. Okay, there we have it. Beautiful. All right. Why am I taking it completely out of the pot? Because I want to add some more soil. And this, like I said, this isn't soil. This is dirt. This is dead. It's just garden variety dirt. There's nothing in it. There's no earthworms. There's no life. And yet this thing is thriving. That's why I love these plants. So I'm going to add a little bit of this beautiful dark composted mixture. And then for funsies, I will also add a little bit of the Creva and rock. Pop this girl back in. I want her to be up pretty much. I mean, she hasn't even hardly corked. Corking is when they, it scars and turns white at the bottom. There's not really much of that happening either. But I want her to be, pretty much level with the top of the pot. All right, and I'm going to add some more of this nutritious stuff. She's so pretty. Okay, you want to tamp it down really, really good, because this soil will decompose over time, and what will happen is what happened initially. The cactus sinks down in the pot. So the better you tamp, the less likely that is to happen anytime soon. Okay. All right. Now I am going to top dress this with what I have left of my rock mixture. And all of a sudden, I have a collectible. So see, that's all it takes, guys. Go out into your gardens, take a look at your pots, and see if you don't have some like this one was. Really cool plant that you just kind of neglected and it just looks crappy. Give it a little love. And yeah, I mean, that, what I think I'm going to do, in addition to that, I'm going to take this really cool shell. Yeah. And then maybe I will also take a little bit of larger volcanic rock that's handy up here. I'm just kind of lost. And there's no right, there's no wrong. You can do this, you cannot do this. I think it's just kind of cute and interesting. So I'm feeling really good about that. Now this guy is going to go over and join my other collectibles, and I'm going to very eagerly, with bated breath, await this magnificent flower. And if I catch it, I will photograph it and post it on Instagram at Laura Loves Succulents. Now, if you missed the video where I beheaded the spiral cactus, I'm going to link it link it here at the end of this video, so you can click on the little icon on the screen and catch up and see that video as well. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.